Hi friends, and welcome back. Most people think risk managing is about avoiding risk, but in reality, it's about managing liquidity. It's because when you run out of liquidity, you're done. It doesn't matter how many assets you're worth, how many real estate you own, or whether you have a car you can sell. It's about the liquidity that keeps everything you're doing, your business, your life going. You are stuck. And this is why I'm doing this video. In this video, you will learn about liquidity, how this is the most underrated risk an entrepreneur or a businessman or a private person in general has to face. We will cover what liquidity risk really is and how to manage it, what you should do to manage your liquidity so you can sleep really good at night, and how to use liquidity strategically so you can make better opportunities and better investments. If you care about growing and protecting your wealth and your family, then you should subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on other videos about risk management, private finance, and so much more. Thanks for that, and now let's dive in. What risk really means. When people talk about risk, they usually mean volatility. Like stocks are risky, real estate is risky, but they really mean the volatility while owning these assets. But volatility isn't risk. Risk is running out of opportunities and choice. And nothing kills your choices and opportunities faster than illiquidity. Liquidity simply means how quickly you can transform your assets into cash without losing much of value. Your savings account is liquid, your house isn't. Your startup equity is mostly not liquid. And yet, most people overinvest into illiquid assets. They lock up their money into closed funds, real estate, or others. They can't touch the money for years or even decades. The result here is that when life hits them the most and surprise them, they mess up. They are stuck, they are illiquid, and they might get bankrupt. Let's take a job loss, medical expenses, or even a once a decade market crash. They have no cash to act. And the funny thing here is that these types of events, black swan events if you like, are the ones where millionaires and billionaires are made. Only by those who are liquid. The hidden cost of being illiquid. Here is something I've learned. The lack of liquidity isn't something that just limits your safety, it actually limits your freedom. Imagine you have 2 millions in real estate. Sounds good, right? But if every cent of your wealth is into mortgage, into renovating, or slow tenants, you can't move. Then suddenly a golden opportunity rises and you are able to buy a property 30% under market value. You know it's a steal, but you can't move. Why? Because your wealth is trapped in illiquid assets. That's the real danger of illiquidity. You might look rich on paper, but outside you're financially paralyzed. This is exactly why every serious and great investor, entrepreneur, always thinks of liquidity, liquid reserves, or your financial oxygen. The more you have, the longer you can breathe underwater if the market crashes, or take an additional breath to buy up new real estate, or stocks, or a new startup. That shows how illiquidity can mess up your freedom to choose. The psychology of liquidity. And here's another interesting thing. Having cash on hand does not just put you in the perspective of being protective for your finances. it also improves your mindset. When you know you have liquidity, you make better decisions, you negotiate better deals, and you're less emotional because you're not operating off fear. People who are only one expense away from panic can't think long term. They are forced into a short term thinking, a real survival mode. But those who are liquid, they are calm, patient, opportunistic, and smart. It's not a coincidence that Warren Buffett sits always on a pile of cash. He's not waiting because he's scared. He's waiting for the perfect opportunity. His cash is operational. It's working to wait for the best opportunity to invest in. Keep in mind, optionality is power. Practical liquidity framework. How do you manage liquidity the right way? Here is my simple framework. Call it the 3 bucket strategy if you like. Bucket 1, cash and near cash. Keep 3 to 6 months or even 10 months of your living expenses in cash and high yield savings accounts that you can ever access. If you own property or even a business, you should aim for a little bit more than this actually, because your risk is higher. This is your buffer for surprise expensive and for ammunition to buy others' sells. Bucket 2, semi-liquid assets. This includes things such as ETFs, stocks, mutual funds that you can sell at any time. That gives you some yield, but you can still access it when you need the money relatively fast. And bucket 3, illiquid assets. That's for your long-term growth. It's about real estate, startups, private equity. These are all fantastic wealth builders, but they're not your safety net because of its inner illiquidity. The key is balance. If everything is liquid, you might not grow, but if everything is illiquid, you will never sleep. Most people over-optimize for growth and over-optimize for safety. Most people either over-optimize for growth or for safety. The right path is to balance them with your risk appetite. True wealth is to know how to balance both in the right way, so you are always as liquid as possible to search for new opportunities, but not too much to lose interest. Why high liquidity matters in real life. Let's make it practical. Let's say you have a few properties. You should always have enough liquidity to handle the worst case scenario. A $40,000 renovation, 6 months of no rent, and a roof repair you don't plan for. That means you are not forced to sell in a bad market, to refinance under stress, or borrow at crazy interest rates. But it's not always about defense. Liquidity can also be your offense. When everyone else is panicking during a crash, you will be the one who is buying assets at a discount, mostly from them. That's why I call liquidity the silent weapon. It's invisible until it saves your wealth or multiplies it. How to build and protect liquidity. So, how you actually build liquidity without letting it got eaten by inflation or bad habits. Here's what I recommend. First, you should automate your cash pile, your build up. Treat liquidity as a monthly bill you pay yourself. Use a high yield account or short-term treasury ETFs to earn some interest. And this one is tough. Don't touch it unless you really need it to defend or to offense. Liquidity is not for fun, it's for leverage. Keep that in mind. It's the ammo you need when the next crisis or golden deal comes again. Here's my takeaway. Liquidity isn't boring, it's not a waste of money. It's your offense and defense in the same spot. It gives you freedom and power to decide. It's your choice, your opportunity, and your stability. If this video helps you to rethink about liquidity and cash pile, you should subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Don't miss out on other videos about money, finance, AI, and so much more. Thanks for that. I hope you liked it. And now, see you in the next video. Cheers.